and Associates. If you are already a minion and you would like to tithe, please hit like. If you'd like to become a minion, please hit follow. If you would like to confess, please do so in the comments. And if you would like to evangelize, please share. So let's see what we've got in our stack of stuff. Let's see what the tabs bring us. Actually, you know what? This is my 99th hour, 100th hour that I am starting right now. My 100th hour of reasons you should not watch Autism Speaks. How you doing today? How you doing this evening? So, I only really have 1 hour left just of that subject. What shall I do with my last hour? Let's see if we can find some new news that maybe popped up today. That's a Reddit page. I don't consider that news. No, speak no evil. Autism News, articles, research. 7 hours ago. So this is News Medical Life Sources. And what I am going to do now is I am going to actually start just doing stories on regular articles and stuff. I am trying to look at Autism Speaks here. And we don't have enough Autism Speaks there, so boy, I sure am not coming up with any stories for Autism Speaks. That's the last 24 hours. We'll go to last week. Let's see what they're saying on Facebook. This is Eileen. You know Eileen, right? Or is this Eileen? Anyway, thank you, Autism Speaks, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, Skylar Fulton. Howdy. I'm wondering from the very bottom of my heart. All right, so what am I going to do? This is my last hour. My very last hour of, well, not dealing with the Autism Speaks. Wait, how do I get out of Spanish? Oh, okay. It's like Spanish book, and I've already looked at this Facebook, so this is not new to me. Autism Speaks, Dallas, Fort Worth. Let's see what's going on. Okay, this is Autism Speaks, Dallas, Fort Worth, so I'm not going to mess with their page. I'm not going to get into that. Autism Speaks verse. Okay, here we go. TikTok. What is this?
Monotone talking. Now, people on the
monotone talking. Okay. Wow, I have gotten so many stories that it's hard for me to find any stories now. Okay, here we go. Wait, how long ago was this? This is a day ago. Whoa. Whoa, 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 okay. Autism Speaks is like, why won't you tell people we're not bad anymore? Did you know that Autism Speaks doesn't pay their collaborators? Ugh. That's right, not even a gift basket for all the hard work they do repairing their image, yeah, and enduring harassment. Pay me. Disabled people have always been... Who is this? I don't know this person. This is very interesting. I wonder who this person is. I wonder. Let's stalk them. They've got about as many followers as me, a little more than me. Message. I'm just gonna say howdy. She's probably gonna block me. I wouldn't blame her. I block me. Disabled people have always been exploited for their labor and can still be legally denied minimum wage. That's true. I was not aware of that until recently. Did not know that at all. Neurodiversity. Uh, Profound autism statement. Wow. I'm trying to find an article here somewhere on Autism Speaks. Holy heck. Past month? Autism Speaks. This is Psychology Wiki. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Autism Speaks is, you know what, this is already, I think I'm going to keep this one. It's a controversial autism advocacy organization in the United States. It sponsors autism research and raises awareness, is what it says. Autism Speaks is run almost entirely by non autistic people. Many of its goals are at odds with the goals of autistic people. Yeah, we're going to put this right. Whoops. No, 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 we're not pasting. I am going to put this. I've got a stack of stuff here of this in Charity Navigator, in which I can paste all these nice little, these really cool websites like this. Now I will try to close it. I will say save. Now it's saved. Okay. Autism Speaks runs the Light It Up Blue campaign and uses a blue puzzle piece as a logo. History, it was founded, okay, we know the history. It was founded in 2005 by Bob and Suzanne Wright after their son Christian was diagnosed at like 4 years old or something like that. In January 2008, child clinical psychologist Geraldine Dawson also became Autism Speaks Chief Science Officer. In 2010, the organization named Yoko Ono as its first global autism advice. What? Since its founding, what? Okay, we're going to go back to Yoko Ono. But let me try to get through this. Holy moly. Controversies. Autism Speaks pushed anti-vaccine myths. That is true. Let's see. Autism Speaks is known for supporting parents at the expense of their children. Its ads often stigmatize autistic people. Very true. Treating them as burdens. That is very, very true. In fact, because of that culture, I made up this shirt. And this was about a year or two ago. Well, a year ago? Probably a little more than that. Year and a half ago. And it's because of that exact culture. And that they always contribute to. It's I Am Autism portrayed autism as tangible monster that destroys parent lives. It says it caused divorces, financial ruin, was worse than childhood diabetes, AIDS, and leukemia combined. I don't know why they, in what context, but that's what they said. Um, it's Autism Everyday film, which I also have that, in which crews showed up early to create distressing situations for autistic children. Featured a mother talking about how she considered driving herself and her daughter off a bridge. Yeah, that's absolutely true. She said this while her daughter was standing right there behind her. Actually, she wasn't sitting there. She was standing about 8 feet away, looking out the window. Um, More than recently, its 100-day kit encourages um, parents agree, blame autism for their problems, ignore their children's requests until they are satisfied with the way the request is made, and avoid accepting autism. Autism Speaks promotes ABA, and it still does to this day, a popular form of behavior modification that uses punishment and or reward control to control behavior. Autistic people have long claimed ABA is often cruel and psychological damaging. Emerging research links it to PTSD traits, and I think it's like 60% of all, or it's like much higher. Howdy, um, percent of autistic people that have been through ABA report PTSD. My, Michael, I was told that my mother took lots of Valium, like lots and lots of Valium. Um, and I was told, I just thought it was she drugged herself up. Actually, I was told that she was taking Valium. She was under 5 different names, under 5 different doctors, taking Valium. If that was all true, fine and dandy, but she was autistic. She was straight up autistic. But she did give me the way my mother dealt with me was she gave me the happy weed, the happy tobacco kind of stuff that I have actually just consumed recently. But I'm glad to see you here. I'm glad you're here. That's awesome. This is my last hour of 99 hours. Or, well, this is my 100th hour that I'm working on right now. So when I finish this hour in about 37 minutes, that will be 100 hours that I've been talking about how awful Autism Speaks is. And I think I'm just going to continue going for a little bit anyway. I may not. I may switch subjects though tonight. Um, it's Autism Everyday Film, which I do have now. I think I'm going to put that on my website. I mean, not my website. I don't have a website. Oh, why, thank you. And the reason I did 100 hours is because that sounds like an outrageous amount of time to talk about why Autism Speaks. You shouldn't support Autism Speaks, and that was the entire point of it. I kind of hope that kind of got across that like I could talk that much about it. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to. Anyway, so yeah. Howdy, Tony. Um, More recently, it's 100-day kit. I've seen that, and it encourages parents to grieve, blame autism for their problems, ignore their children's requests until they are satisfied with the way the request is made, and avoid accepting autism. Absolutely true. I wasn't. Oh my goodness. I was given happy tobacco at like 7, 9, somewhere in there. I know I was loading those bowls and properly at 9 for sure. And my mother was autistic, and I think that was her way of dealing with me. And she was very. I don't even know how she held a job. I have no clue how she held a job at all. I know she worked for a company where she did phone. She did surveys. And she did that for about where she was on the phone, and she did that for about 15 years. But I think she got a little cubicle or whatever, and was just able to read off the survey or take down the answers, and that was, how they did it back then. So maybe that was why it was repetitive, easy to do. She could read well. Autism Speaks promotes ABA therapy. Yes, they do. Um, Protests against Autism Speaks are more common in the autistic community. Now I'm going to show you something, Michael. See this right here? This is a letter that I sent to Charity Navigator, the Better Business Bureau, and all of the supporters, which I'll show you right here. So when you go to, oh, I wish they would stop prompting me for that. This is like a bunk account that doesn't really exist. Well, I haven't made a profile or anything for it. Oh, meet our partners. Okay, so all these companies here I sent that same letter to, and those were all links. There was like 20, probably 21 links there now to different like Newsweek magazine or Newsweek, the New York Times, Washington Post, and then some rather more prestigious autism websites and so forth. But basically, so I sent all those links as to why you should not support Autism Speaks, essentially. Wrote a nice letter, though, and sent it to all these companies. So that's what I was working on today. So I actually did work today. It was not cool. I did not like it. I am not ever doing that again. Yeah. I actually used to work. Used to work my butt off. And this last 2 years since I got POTS, I can't do anything anymore. I was a garbage man and I loved it. I was a garbage man. And I worked my butt off. And I did that on purpose. I didn't know I was autistic, but I wanted to avoid people. And then when I figured I was autistic, it was like, oh yeah, okay, this makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I got that done, and here I'll read it to you. It's very very short. I am David Page. I kind of took a little bit of liberty here, but I am David Page, an autistic content creator, and I put advocate. I would normally put self advocate, but I wanted it a little bit stronger for the purpose of this letter. Autism Speaks is an extremely controversial organization that most of the autistic community does not support, and a great many of the autistic community consider to be a hate group. Please consider these links that explain why an honorable corporation should not be associated with them. And then here's all those links. And this is single line, by the way. So each one of these lines is a link. I was a hospital corpsman. Yeah, compacts. I remember seeing like compacts in with the only people I ever saw with the computers were the tech dudes. What's that? The PM tech dudes or whatever, preventative maintenance tech. They worked at the hospital and they tore a bunch of crap apart. Everything that they could that the civilians didn't have to do. Those dudes were smart though. They could solder anything, and they knew tech stuff. But yeah, they had those compact computers before anybody even saw computers. I don't know why, but they had a bunch of those things. That was in the like early 90s. I don't know. Okay, I wasn't in the real Navy. I was a corpsman. I was with the Marines, so I don't know what like GMM or I'd say IT2. I don't know. 20 years later, IT2. Earthling Jake. Hello, Earthling Jake. So, okay, so anyway, So I got all those sent off, and then there was this one under Wilson. Wilson was special because they left at a. I don't have it right here. It's probably in one of these bookmarks. Yeah. So Wilson left all these companies right here that these are particular franchises that were observing this Autism Speaks thing. So I sent it to corporate and to every one of these franchises also. So I'm kind of hoping that what happens is a bunch of these franchisers get panic a little bit and they start calling up Wilson at corporate, and then they panic because they got 4 or 5 of these people panicking. You know what I'm saying? Start a little a panic collage. Oh, isn't that terrible? See, they put us through ABA, and now we know what brainwash. We know how to brainwash people. They taught us when we were 5. Oh, come on, be, but, okay. I got out in 91, 92. Did that rate exist then? I mean, I recognize the IT, but I was like, nah, that can't be a rate. Um, but did that rate exist way back then? I mean, I guess it could have, but did the rate actually exist, or were they like some kind of engineer or mechanic or something, or like electrician? Oh, okay, okay. Oh well, that's very honorable of you, dude. I appreciate that. Thank you. I was a corpsman in the Navy. I went in '87, got out like '91 ish, '92 ish, something like that. I did my 4 years and got out. But I was with the Corps the whole time. I was even Marine Corps Reg. I love those guys. They were great. DM DPRM the merge. I don't know what DP. See, I'm not even. I'm not. I am so not even. But of course, that was a long time ago. I guess I can say I am 53. I went in when I was 17. I got out when I was 21 or 21, 2 maybe. Okay, so this is going on to. I do want to know what that DPRM is, though, if you don't mind. So that's cool. So okay, so I am. By the way, so I am part of the Marine Corps League. By the way, my wife is the commandant or the leader of our local chapter. Okay, yeah, like Radio Man and stuff like that. Yeah, but like the PM guys or whatever, right? Man, oh man, oh hell no, I wouldn't want to do that. But I guess if you're the right kind of autistic, that's perfect place to be. If you're the right type of autistic, like my son would have been great. He understood numbers and computers, how numbers relate to programs and stuff like that when he was like 10 or 12. Oh, you went in young too. That's really unusual. Like, what's your age, if you don't mind me saying? I'm 53, but that's really unusual to go in that young anymore. Or maybe they do that still, but in Ukraine right now, they just started getting kids that were like under 24, and they've been at war for 3 years. As far as the draft, I was like, oh hell, if they were American, we'd be on 16-year-old by now. Okay, okay, yeah. So yeah, okay, so yeah, you've had a much um broader career than I did. You saw a lot more than what I did. That's cool, and you saw massive change, like through the Cold War and through terrorism. Oh my goodness! And then the army and the navy trying to repurpose itself and figure out what the heck it's doing there. because the missions, well, I wouldn't say the mission had changed, but it wasn't what it was before. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, dang, we got to change. You know what I'm saying? Change with the mission. Not that the mission changed exactly, except for, I mean, it kind of did overnight with 9/11, but. And talk about change now with the with what's going on in Israel with the way drones are being used and Ukraine and so forth. Now that's changing everything too. Now we're going tech. Could you imagine if the coolest thing you could do was end up with the warriors with swords because you wouldn't be a target because you didn't have any tech? We're gonna be back to throwing stones. Well, I do. I thank you for your service. Truly, I do mean that. You know that. All right, I'm gonna. So okay, that was a cool article to run into. That was cool. I did good on that one. Autism. This is my son Noah. Hi, Noah. I am not logging in. Who is this? I don't know this lady. Oh wait, I think I saw her today. Okay, she doesn't look it. This lady is not white. She looks really like complected here, but she's got her hair blonde. And what I mean is, she's like an attractive, like Arab coloring or something, a Middle Eastern kind of coloring, ethnicity ish or Asian ish. Um, Western Asian ish. But that's why it confused me. But I recognize her features. But she looks so light in this picture. She looks like she's a Caucasian almost. She's so light, at least on my screen. Okay, busting autism myths. Okay, no, I don't care about autism. I want Autism Speaks. Autism Speak. Oh, I keep on seeing like Occupy Autism Speaks. I'm like, hey, that's cool. Oh, that's me. Challenge it. Well, this is good, and I know that's mine. Okay, I have not seen this one. Okay, this is really weird. Oh, okay, that's her. Wow. That was not nice to Autism Speaks, I assure you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking some snapshots of that because okay, how do I get out of this now? Yeah, get me out of here. That was kind of a cool picture. Um okay, this says looks like it. Oh no, there. Okay, this is a public library. So you know they're going to right off the bat. Oh, howdy Tyler. Howdy, how you doing? Um are you still there, Michael? I think Michael had to leave. Michael Bell. I've known a Michael Bell too. Mike Bell. I've known a couple of Mike Bells, I think. I don't think it was this gentleman though. So, no, we don't want Thomas in the train. History of autism, we don't care. I'm trying to find more stuff on Autism Speaks. I am like 30 minutes away from having 100 hours of having talked 100 hours of reasons why you should not support Autism Speaks. Yeah, there you are. Okay, cool. And see, what's this? Autism Speaks. Nope. And I'm trying to dig up articles right now on Autism Speaks, but it looks like I've almost covered everything. Um, but the thing is stuff usually comes up every day. It is Autism Awareness Acceptance Month, what have you. Interesting. Look at this. Wow, I am impressed. Okay, well then that was for the last month. I could go for the last year, I guess, but um okay, this is against Autism Canada. Um there's a Autism Speaks Canada, and obviously these Canadians do not like it. Their organization is based on eugenists. You know what they're based on? Them eurythmics. That's what they're based on. We don't like them eurythmics. Autism Speaks has long history of characterizing autism as a hideous. No, we like the eurythmics, don't we? Way better than having to listen to Autism Speaks stuff. Autism Speaks has a long history of characterizing autism as a hideous, terrifying monster which parents should avoid at all costs. Absolutely. Including their child's mental health. And because of that, you see, my son committed suicide last October. He was 22. And Autism Speaks is not culpable for that. It is not their fault. I am not blaming them for him committing suicide. What I am saying is that he always refused to get mental health. And with the ads that they put out, with the image that they've given about autistic people, no matter what, they did not help. They did not make the situation better. They did make it worse. Now, like I said, I don't know that necessarily, even directly, but did it indirectly? Did that ad affect somebody that made fun of people getting mental health or made fun of autistic people? Did my son see that? Don't know. But by demonizing autism and us getting mental health in that respect, even having to admit that we're autistic, that was very dangerous and irresponsible. And there is no excuse and there's no coming back from that. I'm sorry. Once you've gone to eugenics, once you have gone to unlifing people, once you've said that this brain is not worth anything to you and you want to, with DNA, go in there and change this brain and make me someone else because I'm not good enough for you, by definition, if you said you wanted to get rid of all redheads, it's the same thing. That's a hair type. We're a brain type. So no, you've dropped the ball. Autism Speaks. If a child is diagnosed autistic, Autism Speaks doesn't focus on providing affirming support, highlighting and enhancing the strengths of the child. Instead, they, other than similarly minded organizations, take a deficit-focused approach, looking at everything perceived wrong with the child. That judgment is based on neurotypical standards and perceptions because Autism Speaks does not listen to autistic adults, let alone autistic children. I'm going to tell you something right now. I go to Aurora, or I did go to Aurora. There is a Dr. Major, and it's Major. And she is in Aurora. She's a I can't remember what she is. But I think she's a psychiatrist. Yeah, because she gave me medicines. She knows autism. And I raised a big fuss about being an autistic veteran. It's a long story. But after 2 years, Now, in this region, there is a doctor specifically on 1 day a month. She has half a day set aside just to see autistic veterans. This is the long story, but I pushed for this and pushed for her. And there's also one counselor in this region too that is also, I think, set aside to see autistic veterans. But her name is Major, and she's in Aurora at the hospital itself. So it'd be mental health if you call, um, and if you call them and tell them that you're autistic, if you are, and say that you want to talk to Dr. Major because you're autistic, they may take you even though you're in a different part of the country, because that's the only people in this country right now that specialize in autistic veterans, and that's because of me. Shucks. And I almost went to jail over. Actually, I did get arrested over it, but that's another story. I didn't get in trouble. I didn't go to jail, and I didn't get charged with anything. But yeah, the price of being autistic and having a voice. And also, when you're PDA, it's Major. Is it Diane? Or no? I know it's Major. It's Aurora. Go to mental health at the hospital. Tell them that you're autistic. You heard that she specializes in seeing autistic veterans, and they might like let you slip through it and at least talk to her secretary or whatever, because they know that's a program. And like I said, because you are autistic and they're the only ones in the country that specialize in that, and she knows her shit. Sorry, but she does, and she's good, and she will listen. Okay. Um, but absolutely recommend it. And then I think the lady's name is Lisa. She's Chinese. She speaks Mandarin. And what's the other one? The other northern one. She speaks the other northern better than Mandarin. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, I think her name's Lisa or something like that. And she is a counselor. And if you ask Dr. Major about getting counseling or whatever, she'll tell you this girl's name. She didn't work for me, but she knew her. She's pretty good, I guess. Okay. Um, so this person's complaining about Autism Speaks Canada. That judgment, and thank you, Tyler. I appreciate your empathy. So obviously, it's impossible that you're autistic, right, Tyler? Because you had empathy there. Don't punch me through the camera. See, I can get away with saying stuff. Nobody can reach through the camera. I'm brave. Yeah, internet warrior here, buddy. I'm so sorry. They focus on how difficult life is for parents, and they really do, and they still focus on the parents. It really should be called, and I think if you called it autistic parents speak, I don't think autistics would have a problem with the organization, because then there wouldn't be the presumption that they were speaking for autistic people. But there is the presumption, and they perpetuate that presumption that they speak for autistic. In fact, they speak instead of autistic people, but they definitely do not speak on behalf. And if you look at the tone of the website, you can see what I'm talking about. And they also frame autism as a disease. It's still framed that way. It may not be exactly phrased that way, but you know how we are with words. But when you look at the big paragraph, the big picture, and with everything putting it together, even with each word, you can kind of see how they chose a word that's just a little bit more ableist or another word would have been like less ableist-ish, but they don't use those words, and every time it's that way. Instead of being more ableist, the only word they could have used would have been less. Um, right. Well, Tyler's on TikTok, and Tyler was saying that they were shaken from rage, you know, and that's why I was being a smart ass. Uh, yeah. Last night I went into this group on somebody else's live, and I knew that it was very much pro or anti Autism Speaks. It was very anti ABA. So the first thing I did was go in this chat room and go, "I love Autism Speaks," and I waited and I waited. And all these like quotes are going by, and then I was like, "Yeah, Autism Speaks is the best." Hit send. Nothing. 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 So I was like, I'm just here to troll. Nothing. I was made. They knew exactly who I was. So when I started like trying to troll, they just ignored me. And they were literally actively like kind of like getting ready to kick some people out and stuff, and I'm sitting there saying I'm just here to troll and all this stupid stuff, and they completely yeah they completely ignored me. I was so sad. And then I started literally going, I don't feel seen here. Yeah, it was bad. um so Speaks does focus on life, how life is for the parents, families of the autistic children, and they would say children with autism because they always categorize it as a disease, and how they must spend countless dollars on early interventions in the form of behavioral therapy such as ABA, and try to make their autistic child appear as normal as possible. And that's true. And that's what ABA is about. And Autism Speaks promotes that. Um, no concern is expressed for the actual child, of course, but more on that later. No, they don't. It's more like how to toilet train your kid, that kind of thing. Um, Autism Speaks provides funding to other projects and organizations, which one of which is something they called the missing database. They claim that this may lead to better diagnostics as well as personalized and more accurate treatments. Oh hell no! Oh, we're gonna do way better than that, Betty. We're gonna do way better than that. MSSNG, pronounced missing, is a groundbreaking collaboration between Autism Speaks, Verily, DNA Stack. Hospital for Sick Children are also known as Sick Kids. I don't know that. And the research community to create the world's largest whole genome sequencing database on autism with deep phenotyping. They want to create the world's largest whole genome sequencing database on autism with deep phenotyping. That could not possibly have anything to do with the eurythmics, right? Or was that eugenics? Yeah, eugenics. That's the ticket. Okay, here we go. They claim, okay, when an organization which is compared an autism diagnosis to the death of a child, and they have, it's not a big stretch to expect their genetic research isn't about improving the lives of existing autistics. It's about preventing us from being born in the first place. Which, once again, if they could give me a shot to cure autism, they would. Right? It's literally eurythmics. That's what it is. In 2009, Autism Speaks released a campaign called I Am Autism. We all know about autism. I Am Autism, I'm sure. They have since removed the video, but yeah, but it's all over the place on or excuse me, it can be found on YouTube. I Am Autism. I'm not going to go into everything they said. Well, I guess we can. Every voice I will. No, I'm not going to read their stuff. Um, they continue to promote ABA. ABA is a form of dog training. No, it's not. Oh, well, okay. They're saying this. I'm going to read what they're saying. ABA is a form of dog training used on autistic and disabled people in order to coerce them into performing neurotypical expectations. Okay, that's fair to say. Not exactly accurate, but absolutely, completely fair to say, and accurate in that respect. Um, the practitioner either reinforces desired behaviors by giving the person something they like or want, attempts to reduce unwanted behaviors by withholding those preferred items or activities. That is very true. And it is exactly like dog training. In fact, it's derived from some experiments with dogs and dog training. In abusive cases, which there are many, they're still using electrical shocks at the Rottenberg Center, Judge Rottenberg Center in Boston. Um, Necessity, and they put out more shock than is legal to put on a dog. So in other words, it's literally legal to shock an autistic person at higher levels of voltage than it is a dog. If you did it at the same level as you can do on an autistic person to a dog or a horse, you would go to jail for abuse. But if you use that same piece of equipment on an autistic person, it's called therapy. Oh yeah, I always got sent to my room and stuff. In fact, they sent me to a mental hospital when I was 14. They diagnosed me with as being depressed, but they would put me in the little rubber room. Well, it had carpet in it actually, and I love that place because it was so quiet. I didn't have to put up it with any of the other kids. And then the counselors figured out that I was doing it on purpose so that I could take a break. So you know what they did, of course. They chose to torture me and make me stay out with the other kids, and then force me to stay in groups and closer to groups and stuff like that because I didn't like it. We are about 13 minutes away. I could do a little countdown timer. Here's how their claims hold up when compared to peer reviewed research. Well, when they talk about peer reviewed, okay, when ABA talks about this is evidence based evidence based therapy or evidence science based therapy or whatever, it is evidence based because brainwashing we know works. We have the evidence to prove that brainwashing works. So yes, that is evidence based. And because they use that same techniques in ABA therapy, they can call it therapy. But of course it works. We knew that. That's why it's used on prisoners too, because it works. That's why Rambo got such big money as a blockbuster movie, because they showed the guy getting encouraged, trained on the spring bed against the wall. Just last month, the American Medical Association received a proposal to remove its support for ABA, and that's what I'm doing right now with sending all those letters. If I can get one of those, if one of those falls away in the next month, I'm taking credit for it, unless they specifically say, some reason. But usually they're going to BS and say, we can know we're moving on with a partnership with something else, and they try to like gloss it over. But if one of those leaves, I might take credit for that. I might. We'll see. Because it would be right after I, did that campaign. So Here's how their claims would hold up when compared to peer-reviewed research. If they actually listened to autistics, they would have known the following a long time ago. Well, look at this. This is what's funny. This is Autism Speaks website. White. White. You would think that a something called Autism Speaks, an organization called Autism Speaks, would know that bright screens hurt autistic people's eyes, and I'm getting off of this because it hurts too much. So, what their claims? I'm not going to go through this because it's going to be too hard for me to read. I can barely even see it, and I've got like a 27-inch screen. All right, well that was interesting. Canada, somebody in Canada does not like Autism Speaks. Thank you very much, Canada. Here's a Quora. I usually stay away from Quora, but we'll see. Do you think that Autism Speaks is a good organization for autistic people and their families? Why or why not? Okay. Um, they advocate for a cure. They released a video that paints autism as a demon and will ruin. Howdy, Murphy. How you doing? Uh, yeah, she wanted to drive off a cliff, and that was a lady. That lady that said she wanted to drive off a cliff. She actually was in the executive staff of Autism Speaks, and she left Autism Speaks because they were pushing too hard the science on trying to donate science to for vaccines to study vaccines. So she disagreed with them, left Autism Speaks, and started an own organization for autism research. It's scary. I like know what the Wrights kids and grandkids look like and everything else. I've been doing this for 100 hours now. Oh my guilt! I feel like a stalker. You know, I'm like, oh heck no. Um, they stood up for the JRC. Oh, Judge Rottenberg Center, an institution that has done horrible things to autistic folks. See, I knew what that acronym was. I've never seen it before. Um, Very little of their money goes to actually helping autistic people. And let me get on that in a second here. And they have no autistic members themselves. That's not true. Token here is, but I don't know when that was written, but Token here, she is actually autistic. She's on the executive staff. And there is one on the board now. Um, but only one person that I know that has been identified is actually working for Autism Speaks. Um, I've totally lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. There is very little bit of money that goes. There is like millions of dollars that goes to their bonuses. Keith Wargo gets as much in his expense account as they actually give out to actually autistic families. And that's about $400,000. Even though they net, this is not gross, net 39 million. Yet only a little over $400,000 goes to actually autistic families. And to make it worse, Eileen Lamb here, she is autistic, so are her two boys. She said that Autism Speaks paid for one of her sons to be diagnosed, and I think for her son or sons, I don't know which, they're both autistic, to go to a school. So it's probably a special autism school or something like that, right? And she said that they paid for that. So, being in business, being around corporations, having actually worked, well, kind of owned a corporation, my family did. Since she is actually autistic, out of that $400,000, she would be eligible out of that fund, right? So that would mean that they could pay for her kid's school and their diagnosis or whatever, and that would go right back into the executive staff, that $400,000 that was earmarked for actually autistic people. Right? I'm just guessing this. Well, howdy. Howdy. Wee man. So, that's my thoughts on that. Let's see. Here's another one. Why do autistic people dislike Autism Speaks? An award-winning documentary entitled "Autism Every Day." I just got that one, I think, today. I'm not sure. It features autistic children in the worst moments. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I just got that one today. I'm thinking about putting it and I Am Autism on my YouTube channel. When I watch their... Bleh, okay. I am getting so freaking hot right now. Okay, the pots is killing me right now. Wow. I'm going to go and I'm going to see if I can put on... What?
I'm only 14. Oh my god. I can't say that anymore.
When did you turn 15?
Yesterday.
Your birthday was yesterday?
Never mind, okay. I thought Greta might say something significant. Alright, I'm going to look, see if I can find anything new. Oh boy. Whew. I've never had an episode on a live stream before of POTS happen. This is that Autism Every Day. Do we want to see it? Ugh. I'm going to play it. It's really bad.
Hey, dancing. Dancing.
I'm so scared.
The hair pulling.
You can't really take a day off of autism. Autism never took a day off on me.
A lot of ways, she's like a baby. She's just.
Actually, Michael, you must know the 7 tenets, which are wonderful. I'm shocked that I actually say that, but the 7 tenets are great. And if you compare them to the 10 Commandments, it's hilarious, actually.
Bigger. She needs constant attention. Can't be left alone for a minute. She always has to have my attention, and it's exhausting. In 1 year, we have 3 kids who were diagnosed with spectrum disorder.
He used to take his clothes off a lot, and we're working on that.
He doesn't speak much at all.
Okay, who's this about? Who's this about?
He has never spoken a single word.
Everything about Daniel's life that seems normal for a typical kid, like going out to dinner or going to a park, all that for us is work.
Oh, good. It's all about all about me, all about the mamas.
A little bit more. I'm almost done.
It's impossible for me to talk on the phone at home.
Take your plate and bring it to the kitchen.
I so hope I won't be changing diapers when he's 6.5.
I didn't choose to do this. I'm not a therapist. I was drafted. I have an autistic child.
I was drafted. I didn't choose this. I didn't choose to have the sex. I did not want to have the sex. Oh, maybe she didn't. Hopefully that wasn't the case, but she sure is not making that accusation. She's just talking about how awful her life is now that she has an autistic kid.
Everything I do is about autism.
My son didn't speak till he was about 6.
Do you want to do the alphabet or the numbers?
Do you want to go?
Seven tenets of Satanism, and it's be true to thine own to thy own self be true. I believe that is the first tenet of Satanism. And so it's called the 7 tenets of Satanism. And I know it sounds crazy. It's from the not the Church of Satan, but the Satanic Temple, which is atheists that are basically doing a parody protesting. It's like an extreme protest. So they wrote up these 7 tenets. So it's not about Satanism. It's about being good people.
Up. Okay. I have to stay home with him because I have to facilitate the therapist, going here, going there, the medication, the constant medical appointments.
I really had to give up my entire life as I knew it.
I left the job that I never intended to leave.
And I did have to quit my job.
Our entire social life revolves around autism, and all of our friends are parents of children with autism.
The parents of autistic children often stick together, and we have to.
Because they understand if your kid is having a meltdown and there's no judgment, it's just that's how it is.
You know, it's very hard to maintain friendships with people that have no idea, like, just how difficult your life is on a day-to-day basis.
They have no idea how easy it is compared to this. You know, your heart is breaking all day long. You know, you think about his future and all the pain he's in, and I don't think they can understand that.
And the parents who were going out for bagels together and are like, oh, do you want to come for a bagel? And I think, yes, in another life, I'd love
I can't have my bagels.
to come for a bagel. But right now, I have
yeah.
to write down what he's doing so we can go home and
Way better. Their tenets are way better than the commandments.
work on that. And then I have to take the other 2 to therapy. So, no, I can't go for a bagel.
Danson ran out the door himself, which was absolutely terrifying.
It was freezing cold, no shirt on and no shoes on.
Oh my
Daniel
word.
had walked at the front door.
He got away from me and he was running down the middle of First Avenue.
She took off once and we had to call the police.
I immediately called the police.
I was just running straight on into traffic.
Daniel wouldn't look at traffic.
Running, sprinting down to that traffic light.
He's gonna get hit by a car.
I really was sure that he would be struck by a car.
People were beeping.
My heart was racing.
And I felt my life going in like slow motion.
Anything could have happened.
It's very scary. It's very, very scary.
I feel like I'm playing this game, which is life or death to me. Can't you just keep your child quiet? No.
People have no idea what it's like to have a child with autism.
Bessie? He's too old for that. He shouldn't be having that. We're just judged more harshly and more constantly and expected to do things that no human being should be expected to do.
Why is she screaming?
Why is he hitting himself?
What are you doing to her? Why are you making her cry?
And I say, well, you know, are you an expert in
I think this might be the one where they are blaming autistic kids.
autism?
It's always heartbreaking when Jody was on the swings and crying.
Okay, the kids on a leash thing, I didn't see that here, but my aunt did that with my cousin, and I know he was autistic, but she had polio, and she could not use her hands, so they put she put Jeffrey on. It was like a chest harness kind of thing, and that way he couldn't run off because she really couldn't. She had a hard time, dealing with
that
him.
no human being should
So
be.
in that respect, yeah, and I can see some kids being on a leash. I know it looks horrible, but it could save their life. Say you're at a zoo or something, and the kid all of a sudden decides they're going to jump over and pet the gorillas.
Be expected to do.
Why is she screaming?
Why is he hitting himself?
What are you doing?
I mean, I never had to worry about that, but
to her, why are you making her cry?
And I say, well, you know, are you an expert in autism?
It's always heartbreaking. When Jody was on the swings and crying, the other moms were sort of looking and wondering why this 8.5-year-old girl was screaming and carrying on because she didn't want to get on a swing.
I would like people to second guess themselves when they look at me and they think that A, I can't control my kid, or B, I'm abusing my child because he's screaming. Have a little bit more understanding, a little bit more compassion, and show that to your children as well.
Is that
I'm an
anywhere near as
educator,
funny as
and
I
here
think it is?
I have a child that I have no idea how to teach.
Okay, come on in your seat.
This morning I wanted Danson to sit with me and do a puzzle.
Put that in the puzzle.
He could care less. You know, when he feels like doing it, he will sit there and do that whole puzzle in 30 seconds, or he won't.
What are
I
your
was a
thoughts
grown
on that,
woman
Michael?
afraid of the
What are your thoughts on it? I can see a situation where it could save lives, but I mean, I would not want to normalize it. In other words, I mean, to where you see it all the time, you know, when it's not necessary in that respect. But I wouldn't want the kids or the family to feel weird because they had it or were using a leash type of apparatus. But I have seen situations where if a kid decided to jump or whatever, that's it. You're just done. You're done.
the phone ringing because it was the school principal calling me saying she had bitten someone or she had kicked a kid or she had hit a teacher.
And that's why they have special ed classes. They don't want Daniel to be disruptive. They don't want a lot of times for their kids to have to deal with it.
When he turns 5, I wish so much that he could go to kindergarten here.
He can't go to kindergarten. You know, my school district doesn't have, they don't have anything appropriate for him.
There are parents who are forced to put kids in
Well,
school.
like even with ABA and Autism Speaks, even though I'm probably like so severely critical, I am also honest too. Like Autism Speaks is the reason we have autism awareness. Autism Speaks is probably the reason why I got a diagnosis. And that I know I'm autistic because over the last almost 20 years now, because they started in 2005, they have spread autism awareness, right? So I got to give them that credit. Now, anything and everything else they've done, I pretty much do not agree with. But I do like what they're doing with some of these videos now, because they're just about autistic people. And so there's really not their opinions in there. Like they're just interviewing an autistic person and the autistic person is just talking about their life. So, I mean, what are you going to do? You're not going to, criticize how they perceive their life, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like that. But, and so in that respect, they're starting to normalize. They've been doing that for about a year. That's the only way that I see them normalizing autism in any way, respect, or form. And they have the same crew of actors of their autistics that like they have a group of about a dozen autistics that they like to use, and that's it. It's really strange. And you see those same autistics in all kinds of films and stuff like that. Now maybe it's this that they're local, so they're convenient. It may be something innocent like that,
That are completely overcrowded and 12 kids and one teacher, and the kids don't make progress. But I remember that was a very scary moment for me when I realized I had sat in the car for about 15 minutes and actually contemplated putting Jody in the car and driving off the George Washington Bridge, and that would be preferable to having to put her in one of these schools. And it's only because of Lauren, the fact that I have another child, that I probably didn't do it.
Which is really sad.
So off your hands. I love you.
Okay, this is
Matthias.
Okay, this is Suzanne Wright. This is Christian, and I don't know what her name is, but this is Suzanne and Bob. Okay, it's Bob Wright, the NBC CEO at one time. This is his wife, is Suzanne. So there's Bob and Suzanne, and then that's their daughter, and this is their grandkids. This is Christian, the one that made Bob and Suzanne Wright start Autism Speaks. So it's all this kid's fault. Let's blame it on him.
Was 4 months old when Christian was diagnosed. It just took a lot of the naturalness, the joy of having a baby.
But okay, now knowing who this woman is, okay. Oh, I did great in special ed classes. I did magnificent. I would get like my whole quarters work done in like a 2.5 weeks, and then they're like, "Let's see what you can do," and then they kick me out into the regular classes, and I'd fail again. And then they called it attitude issues, behavior problems, which I'm sure is exactly what they did with you.
Out of the equation because we were always filled with fear. Bye. Bye. Bye.
And I have Lauren, whose babyhood I missed because she was 2 months old when Jody was diagnosed.
I see Pooh Bear's house.
Oh.
What do you see, Jody?
And so the first 2 years of Lauren's life are a complete blur.
He wants to fix Christian, and
Wow.
he makes a big show about examining people.
I don't want anybody to make fun of her.
It's sad. I forget sometimes that he lost Christian too.
I wish I had a sister without autism.
Oh.
When you have a child with autism.
That is so sad how they're characterizing and teaching the kids to say that that's okay to say things like that. Wow.
I think the
That
rate
was so ableist. That was
of
so
divorce
terrible.
is like 80%.
Having a child who needs what Danson needs made it really difficult for me to balance my life and be a mother and have a job and be a wife. I didn't give that marriage what I could have because I had nothing left to give.
We never have any time to be together. It's always one of us
nothing left to give in my marriage.
with Jody.
It was just an angry time where I think both felt so helpless and did not know what to do and really sort of turned on each other.
It's very hard to manage the emotional issues, the financial issues, which are huge.
We had to borrow money from my parents. We had to borrow money from my sister so that we could create this environment for the kids. But all the money in the world, the $50,000 that we're in debt, is all about the autism.
$50,000 that we're in
What
debt
I spend on the
is
medical
all about the autism.
activities that the insurance companies are not paying for. It's a large number.
We had
This
a big
may be real stuff that these parents have to worry about. I understand this, particularly if this outfit was called Autism Parent Speak. Then this would be absolutely appropriate and of great concern and value. But it's called Autism Speaks, not Autism Parent Speak.
big leak in the living room that was coming down in like a bucket. It's been over 2 years and those holes are still there because we don't have any money to fix that.
We keep saying that we're just sending, Daniel to Harvard over and over again every year for the rest of his life.
We just keep taking out loans to pay the bills, and we pay for special food and extra therapies all out of loans. So you just keep borrowing and you just keep trying.
Okay, so they're taking loans out to get therapy. So they are taking loans out to pay for ABA. And obviously, Autism Speaks is not helping them. Right? Or else she wouldn't say that she's having to take out loans. $50,000 in debt. I bet you out of the millions and millions and millions of dollars that they give out in bonuses every year, do you know they're paying the ex-CEO for not working? They paid her for the last 2 years for not working over $250,000. I wish I got $250,000 a year for not working. Because I will not work for Autism Speaks 2 and collect a paycheck.
And
I know it has something to do with compensation, but this is a private organization. Who makes those decisions on who gets compensation or whatever else? It's the organization itself. It's not the government. So the fact that she gets $250,000 a year for not working at Autism Speaks, I think there's something very wrong with that. Now, if this was Coca-Cola or Pepsi or something and that's what they wanted to do, fine. But this is a company that is well, it's a nonprofit.
You just keep being disappointed and you just keep going broke.
Danson goes through phases where he doesn't sleep for like 2 or 3 weeks and you're up all night.
It's like you have a hangover the next day, but you didn't have any fun the night before.
The only solace he will find is if we're driving around. So I literally have driven around in the car all night.
My dad actually used to put me to sleep that way. He'd throw me on the. That's when all the cars had bench seats. He'd throw me on the bench seat in the car, and drive around the block. And he said it'd pass out. But I also have narcolepsy.
Long.
You wake up like in a frat house. Like I wake up here, sleeping on the couch. I'm in my other son's room. I'm there. Christian's sleeping sideways across our bed. I mean, we just pass out.
It occurs to me that this is insane. Like, my life is completely insane at this moment.
I have to live forever. Nothing can happen to me.
I can never die.
I don't think there's a day that doesn't go by where I don't think about, oh, what happens when I'm not here? Who's going to take care of Daniel?
I'm panicking because I didn't write an updated list of what to do.
This gets really bad. It gets really
who's in charge of
bad.
his program, what doctors he goes to, what vitamins and supplements he needs, and what the plan is, because it's all up to me.
You first get diagnosed and you say to yourself, you know, I'm going to do a year of really hard work and he's going to be fine, he's going to be better. And then the year comes by and you're like, okay, maybe like 2 years, and then maybe like 3 years, and then you realize, okay, so basically this is lifelong.
Yeah, it was lifelong at the very beginning, huh?
I imagined Little League and trips and vacations and girlfriends, and it's taken me a very long time to let those dreams go.
Christian's a human being who's fighting so hard, like you can't believe. And what's been taken from him is it's indescribable.
Jackson is never going to get married and never going to have kids. When I'm at somebody else's wedding and they're dancing with their mother, what I would do to dance with Jackson,
he is trying so hard to stay in himself, and I'm trying so hard to pull him out all the time. Look up, let me see your face. Okay.
I think that they have this misconception that all our kids are just mentally retarded and that's it, and what can you do, what can be done.
And she drops the R word, and this was like 2013, I think. Oh, okay, it was 13 years ago.
And we want to change
So it was 2011.
I know that science is making great breakthroughs, and my hope is that by the time Lauren's ready to have a baby, we'll have a cure, or we'll understand how to prevent autism.
I'm never going to say, you know, I quit. It's not really my vocabulary. I assume it's not in a lot of autistic parents' vocabulary.
I just cannot accept we have to throw away this generation of children. No way.
Throw away this generation of children.
if you don't think positively, you won't make it through the day.
Danson is my greatest teacher, and I know that, and he teaches me something every single day.
When I see him do something that we've worked so hard on and he's worked so hard on, it gives me hope that he'll get there. It's just going to take a long time.
He's very, very loving to me.
Say, I love you,
Yeah.
Mom. I love you, Mommy. I'll take that.
Exactly. Well, you know what? I know two people about our age that have adult children that are very high support needs. They will always have to have caretakers with them, or be with caretakers, you know, and group homes or whatever. But they always have to have supervision. Neither one of those parents, I'd never heard them complain or whine. Not once. Oh my word. I never had a hard time tying my shoes. I never did. My son did, now that I think about it. He had a little bit of trouble with it. Well, there you have it. I have done 100 hours. And actually, I'm 20 minutes over, and I am going to quit for right now because I am getting so tired. I really appreciate you guys being here. When I come back on, I don't know if I'm going to come back on tomorrow or not. Wait, what is tomorrow? Is it? I lost the day, didn't I? Yeah, I think I'll probably skip tomorrow and then come back Monday, and I'll be going 2 hours a day. I'll be going 2 hours a day from 4 o'clock Mountain Time to 6 o'clock. 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday. So I hopefully will see you guys there.